your questions kind of at the end of this presentation. I don't really go to the questions during the presentation because sometimes I get on a roll and it's hard for me to kind of go back and forth. A couple things other than that, this presentation is being recorded. Like I said to everybody else that was on it earlier, if you miss something or I talk too fast, which generally happens, I will send you guys the link to this recorded webinar in my follow-up email later today. So everybody will have access to this later on, or if you need to jump off, you will have access to it. Okay, well, let's get down to the stuff that actually matters. You know, this webinar is really a way for me to kind of update you guys on the updates that I've sent email blasts out about. If any of you follow our Twitter feed, you know, we've kind of been updating everybody every day on any changes we've seen based on the updates that Google has made, especially to their lead generation or their pay-per-click field. There are a couple other updates made in the local marketing stuff, which I'll cover briefly, but I'm not really going to get into the nitty-gritty of that. This is more or less about the changes that Google has made in AdWords, which is their PPC platform. So for those of you that don't know me, or you might have been a graduate that, you know, came before me, I've been here for about 3 years. So if you're an older CCTG grad, this is me. I'm a little bit goofy. I do all the paid search advertising here at the Finance Marketing Group for CCTG clients. So if there's ever any questions you have about lead generation that we offer through Commercial Capital Training Group or the lead generation programs and packages we offer through Finance Marketing Group, I'll be your main point of contact. I do have a team that works with me that's all Google certified as far as AdWords, and we are definitely in the process of getting Bing certified as well, which I'll kind of cover later on when we talk about Bing and how we've expanded our network to Bing as well. So if you didn't receive any of my email blasts, or, you know, maybe went to your junk folder, it happens, I totally get it. This is just a brief kind of description of what we're going to be talking about today. So Google recently updated their PPC platform, which is where we run all your lead generation campaigns. And what their update was is they removed their sidebar ads. I'll kind of show you guys what it used to look like before they changed it and what it kind of looks like now, so that helps you understand, you know, the change that was made and how it directly impacts us, especially for the financial service. We have specific restrictions against us advertising online as it is, and now this has kind of made things a little bit more difficult. So I'll go over how we've been directly impacted as an industry. I know there have been questions for those of you that have been running lead generation campaigns with us. There was a drop in commercial real estate advertising leads, probably starting in February. We saw it really drop or it started in January. We saw it really drop in February pretty drastically. It's still kind of recovering a little bit from that, but the leads for commercial real estate have been lower than usual. I'm going to cover that with you guys to try to maybe restore some sanity for everybody that relies on commercial real estate. Search remarketing ads, something new that we've included on all of our lead generation campaigns. I'll kind of go over a little bit of that, help you guys understand that, and, you know, how it values you, especially with a new update that happened. Bing, I'm going to cover really quick. We've been doing some A/B testing with Bing to see, you know, if there's any improvements in Bing bringing leads. Before, you know, Bing was kind of the stepbrother of Google, and you know, there wasn't a lot of value there. I know we had run previous Bing campaigns, you know, years ago, and they were unsuccessful, but now with the Google update, we've kind of seen some changes in that, and there's a lot of advertisers moving over to Bing since the Google update as well. So I'll totally go over that with you guys. And also for those of you that do our lead generation, you're probably aware that we've installed a new call tracking software. I'm going to run through that quickly with you guys and why we decided to go with the new call tracking software from the one we were using previously, and how that kind of benefits you and all of us together. And I'll kind of break into that platform a little bit and just show you guys briefly. These webinars that I do generally last about 45 minutes. If you have to hop off, no problem. Like I said, it's being recorded, and if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the question box. I'll get to them after the presentation. If you think of something later on that you forget about, please email me. I'm pretty available, and I generally will get back to anybody within 24 to 48 hours as well, depending on the email volume for that day. So first and foremost, the Google update that happened. This is probably the last screenshot I have from when Google had the sidebar ads running. I use this screenshot that you see right now in a blog that I wrote a couple months ago, and it's really hard to find what Google used to look like before their update happened, because obviously these sidebar ads don't exist anymore. So Google's PPC network used to look like this. When you went into Google, you typed in small business financing, you'd see 3 ad spaces at the top, and then you would see this whole sidebar of ad spaces. And what actually happened is they removed 11 ad spaces, or they went from 11 ad spaces to 7. So they removed 4 ad spaces from their page. So now when you search on Google, it looks like this. Those sidebar ads are gone. And what's really sad about it is that a lot of our clients were the ones that popped up on page 1 in these sidebar ads. And, you know, it was great because our clients could compete with larger lenders like you see at the top, Kabbage, OnDeck. You know, we were able to compete with them for these huge keywords that are so heavy in volume by having these cheaper ad spots, which are on the side, but they were still on page 1 and they were still visible to people that are searching these terms. Now those ad spaces are gone. And what they've actually done is they took the ad spaces that were on the side and they've put one of them at the top. So instead of 3 at the top, there's now 4 ads at the top and there's 3 at the bottom of the whole page. So if you scroll to the bottom of a search page, you'll see ads at the bottom. So you know, a couple reasons they did this that I don't necessarily agree with, but I'm kind of understanding a little bit more why they did it from a usability perspective. You know, they did it because they want to focus their platform more towards mobile. So a lot of our graduates and clients that run lead generation campaigns, when we go into their campaign and we do the report, and, you know, one thing that we check is, okay, where are their users coming from, or what devices are their users, you know, using to find their ads and their websites and to contact them. And you'd actually be surprised at how many people use mobile devices and tablets to find your ads and actually to contact you through lead gen. We've actually seen, I would say about 80% of everybody I run pay-per-click campaigns for, their top converting device is a mobile device or a tablet. So Google realized that, you know, obviously more than half, almost, you know, 85% of searches today on Google are done from somebody's iPhone or smartphone or tablet. You know, they're rarely done from a desktop computer anymore unless that business owner is sitting at a desktop computer constantly. So what Google is trying to do is, you know, they want to focus more on the mobile design of things because they like how clean it looks and user-friendly. Instead of having all these ad spaces, you know, it's much more clean like this. Another reason they're doing it is they're trying to push towards organic SEO. So Google's whole reason for existing is that they want to provide quality search results to users who go to their platform and type in things like, I need a small business loan. Their goal is to present that user with the best possible companies that they could get a small business loan from. The advertising space, you can, when it comes to paying a dollar amount, you can find a way to get on the first page, no matter what kind of company you are. You could be a loan shark for all they care, and you would pop up. But for the companies, like, you know, the first organic result here, obviously for small business loans, is going to be the SBA.gov. You're probably never going to beat the SBA for that keyword, but underneath that, we'll start to see like the third organic result down. If you guys look at the end of the page, is it says find your small business loan. That's Fundera. That's a lender. You know, and those are organic search results. So Fundera's been doing a lot of SEO practices in order to get themselves on the first page for that keyword organically. So Google wants to take away more of those ad spaces and push more of their users to clicking on those organic listings below rather than maybe clicking on an ad. I know, it sounds crazy. Why the heck would Google want to push people towards search results that aren't making them money? You know, ads make them money. This is what kind of boggled our mind in the beginning when they made this update. I'm like, I can't believe they're removing, 4 ad spaces that people pay top dollar for to be on page 1, and, they're pushing people towards search results that are more, organic and better, and they don't make them any money. Well, if there's one thing Google does not need, it's money. So Google does not care about their ad network bringing in money. I followed a lot of bloggers that work for Google, and a lot of them said, they came out and admitted, we know we're going to lose a lot of small businesses that advertise on the network, but that's not really an issue to us. We are more about usability. We want to provide the best quality websites for people, and generally the best quality websites come from organic SEO because, they take longer to approve, they take longer to climb into those top spots for certain keywords. So it shouldn't scare you away from doing pay-per-click, because PPC is always going to yield leads for anybody that does ads. Google's never going to get completely rid of, their AdWords. That'd be silly. A lot of businesses do rely on it, especially new businesses that, can't get on the first page of Google organically in at least maybe even a year, maybe even 10 years. Like, that takes a much longer process depending on how aggressive your SEO campaign is. And, this is also a big push towards Google's local SEO, which is another update they made. You used to be able to go into your browser here and change what area you wanted to search in. Now Google is always for your local area, so you'll always receive local search results when you type something in over the more national search results. So that's just kind of a background of the update that was made and why they decided to make that. This is exactly what I have looked like for the last month. So they made this update on, I believe, February 18th. I remember I got the email about it, and I almost had a heart attack. And then I immediately went into attack mode. How can I make sure that my clients remain getting the same lead count they were getting for the same budget they were spending? Because, when they cut out all those ad spaces, what's that do to the ad network? It makes it so much more competitive for that first page ad spot. So with more competition, we see a higher rise and increase in the cost per click for keywords. So this is kind of where fear struck into me a little bit in the first couple of days that this happened. My first instinct was to figure out why it happened, and then I had to immediately put plans in place in my team in order to recover some accounts that maybe would have suffered from it, and we put actions into place that will keep it from really affecting any of our accounts moving forward, which I'm going to go over with you guys. But Braveheart's one of my favorite movies, and I thought this was perfect because I really did feel like William Wallace the last couple of days fighting Google. I've been on the phone with them too many times over the last couple of weeks. So here's what we know so far. Like I said, bidding is more competitive for page 1. Obviously, when you have less ad spots, it gets more competition. More competition equals higher bids. So when we have higher bids, that means our budgets are getting spent more quickly because we're spending more than we were before. So, for those of you that have a set budget monthly, or for those of you that are platinum clients of CCTG, this is something that you've probably noticed, especially this month, because this is really the first full month that the update has been in effect. So what's happening is the allocated budget you have for your pay-per-click campaign, let's just say it's $1,000 a month, where $1,000 a month used to get you about 22 days of advertising. It's probably getting you about 16 days of advertising now. And that's just because we have to bid higher to make sure you guys are still popping up in those spots that were getting you leads before. People could say, well, why don't you just keep the way I was bidding it, and, maybe I'll fall down a couple spots, or maybe I'll fall down onto page 3. Okay. Good luck getting the amount of leads you were getting on page 3. That's all I have to say. So this is why we had to conform with it. We had to bid higher on certain keywords. For me and my team, the first action I placed was, let's only bid higher for the keywords we know for that specific client. So we went into everybody's campaign. We found out what keywords you were getting the most leads for, and those were the initial keywords that we increased the bids on. So that was our first action, and we only will increase bids on keywords that are actually converting for you. There's no point in me increasing a bid on a keyword that you're receiving a ton of impressions for, but nobody's clicking, nobody's converting. because then we're just kind of throwing money away at something that's not really helping you. So that's one thing that, we've put in to place. And my fourth bullet point here kind of covers that. If we don't bid competitively in the market, we may fall too behind. So it's really a necessity for us to bid competitively for you guys when your campaigns are in our hands. So I know I've received a couple emails from people over the last week saying, Brittany, I haven't received any leads this week. And I go to their campaign and I say, well, actually, your credit for the month has run up. So it won't begin again until April 1st for those of you that are platinum. For those of you that sign on with me month to month or for 3-month commitments, it's kind of the same thing. When you set a budget for the month, let's just say you set a $1,000 advertising budget, we bid competitively for that budget. And it usually, what we've been seeing is the budgets starting on March 1st for $1,000 have probably been running up around March 18th. I have a couple campaigns that are still running for about $2,000, but they'll probably run up at least this week, at the end of this week. So that kind of gives you an idea of how your campaigns are running. Now, if that bothers you and you say, Brittany, I don't want my leads to run up by the 16th, is there some way I can adjust this? Absolutely. A lot of you know that custom ad scheduling is something that we can do. So if you tell me, Brittany, I only want my ads to run on the weekends, or Brittany, I only want my ads to run Monday, Wednesday, Friday between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m., I can absolutely do that. And it might extend your budget to be a little bit longer, but in turn, you're probably going to get the same amount of leads. It's just whether or not you want to be available at specific times or you want your ads to run continuously for 12 hours, 7 days a week. Totally up to you guys. It really depends on when you're available to answer the leads that come in. If you do have a custom ad schedule say you want it to only run on the weekends, all you have to do is email me what you want your schedule to be, and my team can fix it instantly. A lot of you that I do custom ad schedules for, that I'm pretty flexible. You can email me a custom ad schedule any day, anytime, and we will have it fixed instantly for you. It's an easy change on our side. Okay, here are a couple other things I wanted to go over with you guys just to show you a little more visual. The blacked out box, that's just for my clients' privacy. I took their campaign from February and I compared it to how it's running in March already. Obviously March isn't over, and when I built this webinar it was about last week, so some of the data may have changed in March already, but a couple things I wanted to pay attention to is in the highlighted box it's shaded like a pinkish, I have the same keywords, business loan and business loans. I just took these two keywords to compare it just to kind of show you guys how things have changed. So what we've seen are some, the first shaded pink column says estimated first page bid. If you're not wearing your glasses like I'm not right now, it might be a little difficult to see, so I'll kind of read it over for you guys. The second column is estimated top page bid. So that's first page top spot. That's what that means. And then, top page bid, I'm sorry, that's first page, the top 3 spots. The last column that says estimated first position bid, that's what the top position first page person is paying per click. Pretty crazy that people pay $82 a click, but people got money to burn apparently when you work at Kabbage, so that happens. Now what I want to show you guys, I'll flip kind of back and forth between these, is we have seen a really dramatic increase in these 3 prices. So when we bid for your campaign, obviously what am I bidding for? I'm bidding to get you guys on the first page. Then secondly, I'm bidding to get you in the top 3 spaces. Then we're trying to bid for you to get in the first spot. And it kind of breaks down like that, which is why these are prices that I really wanted to show you guys and how they spiked. So the first page bid, just to get on the first page, increased just about $1 for business loans, and it actually decreased for business loan. Now what we see for estimated top page bid, we see a pretty dramatic increase for both of them, a couple dollars each, and the same thing goes for the estimated first position bid. They jumped up a couple prices. There was no real change in their click-through rate or the average position. Obviously no change in their quality score. We always keep that up for you guys. This update is not going to affect your quality score, so I wouldn't be too worried about that. Here's what I was talking about. the first position or the position your ads are in. Now, for those of you that don't know, the first page of Google, there are 7 ad positions. So if it says your position for business loan, 6.4, that means you rotate between the 7th and 6th ad position on the first page for that keyword on average. I always keep your on average positions above, well, now I have to keep them above a 7. Before I was trying to keep them above a 10 so that you guys were always on the first page rotating for those keywords. Now we have to keep all of them above a 7. More difficult, which means we have to bid a little more competitively, but we didn't really see much of a difference. In fact, a lot of people's average positions increased. So this client particularly was ranking in the position for business loan and business loans, and now they're ranking in the 5th position. A reason for this particular client, they've actually been advertising for a year now. They've developed a really good quality score and an authority with Google. They're a continuous advertiser, which Google likes. So Google actually didn't hurt them too much as it did new advertisers. We saw new accounts actually drop a little bit. Not so much for this person. So as far as, their bids for the top spots, they increased, but their average position we're keeping pretty consistent. Actions already in place. Like I said, we're bidding very competitively. We're in every single person's account every single day. So, we have probably about 100 active pay-per-click accounts to date right now, and we are in every single one of those accounts every day, competitively bidding for you guys depending on where you're falling in the position on their ad network. So that's the first thing we've done. The second thing that we've incorporated is search remarketing ads. For those of you that are, familiar with remarketing, if you go to buy shoes and say you go to Nike.com and you're like, I don't really want to buy those shoes. You jump off Nike.com and, you go into your email or you go on Facebook and there are Nike ads following you, the same exact shoes you looked at, and it's creepy, right? Well, those are remarketing ads. A lot of us in the industry call them stalker ads. So Google actually has developed search remarketing ads, which are, they're like the banner ads, but they don't follow people around the internet. What happens is, if a user is on your website, let's say they go to www.commercialcapitalmoney.com, and so I'm on their website, let's just say they read about your products. Now they can't make a decision, so they jump off your website and they're thinking about going with somebody else. Now they go into Google and they type in, I need a small business loan. If you have search remarketing ads in place, no matter what people are paying, you will pop up in the top spots. And that is because your website has already tagged that borrower as visiting your website. So now when they go back to Google and they type in a keyword that you're targeting, like small business loan or I need a small business loan, your ad, no matter what you're bidding, will pop at the top because they're part of your remarketing campaign now. That is exciting because this allows us an opportunity to compete with those big lenders that are basically dominating the top spots of Google. No matter what they're spending $82 a click to be there. A lot of the top lending companies in our industry don't even know search remarketing ads is a thing. It's like, unless they have a dedicated pay-per-click team like we do, then they'll kind of get it. But a lot of lenders that I've talked to at conferences, they have pay-per-click campaigns set up by somebody like an intern they have working at their company, and they just kind of let it run because they don't really care about what they're spending. They have these, disposable budgets of whatever a month. But for smaller businesses, it's really important to maximize what you're spending. So this is the best way to do that because we're targeting users who have already know you're a company, they've already been to your website, and now we're putting your ads on page 1 in front of them to remind them, hey, we're still here, you were just checking us out, why don't you come back? So every lead generation campaign that I have running, and this includes platinum accounts from CCTG, and it also includes anybody that I have signed on after their initial CCTG gold credit as part of their gold package. You will all get this. I am a firm believer in this. Our Google rep actually is the one who introduced me to it and told us that it would really help us since we deal with a lot of small businesses. And she really helps us with this. You know, for some of you that run campaigns on your own, just to let you know, you will have to contact a Google rep to help you set this up, because it does include putting custom HTML code on your website, which we're able to do if, you know, your website was created by us, or if you have a WordPress website. You know, I've learned the coding enough to go in and do it, which is kind of scary because I was never into coding. But definitely something cool that we offer now and we've installed on everybody. This is just another example I have that breaks it down a little bit. This is a Persian's t-shirt website. This is the way Google kind of describes it. So, you know, I'm on a t-shirt website, then I go, I don't really want that. So I go back to Google and I go to look again, and here we are, show them with a custom ad when they search on Google again, because they've already been tagged in your remarketing code. We have their IP address in your campaign now, and we can stalk them for the rest of their lives. It's pretty exciting. You know, I was really worried about when our Google rep was kind of showing me the remarketing. We've ran remarketing campaigns in the past, display remarketing campaigns. Those are the banner ads that follow you all around the internet on Facebook that say, hey, come back and buy these pair of Nikes. I'm going to tell you right now, they don't work for generating leads. That's just how it is. I've had plenty of people try them, and they don't generate leads like search ads do. It's our industry maybe, but they don't work. The only reason that people in our industry run the display remarketing campaigns is these two reasons, basically. If you want to achieve exposure but have a limited budget, or if you have a long path to purchase. These are the only two reasons it really works with our industry. Branding, so that's the exposure point. And if you're willing to wait around for stalking somebody for a couple months for them to finally come back to you, but it's not even guaranteed that they're going to use you as a broker. So long path to purchase and exposure are probably the two others. These three, they don't apply to us in our industry. And this comes right off a Google site when you should use remarketing. So my next thing that we've kind of been experimenting with that we've seen working is Bing. Bing has always been, well, I use this image because this is Step Brothers, but it's like the Step Brother Google. Everybody's like, oh my God, do people even use Bing? Is Bing even a thing anymore? Hasn't Google bought Bing already? You know, these are all things that we've kind of seen. The good thing about Bing ads that makes our lives a little bit easier is that Bing gets it. They get that everybody uses AdWords. They've totally conformed to it. In fact, their ad interface is identical to AdWords because they know Google has what works. So the good thing about Bing is that when I transfer everybody's campaigns over to Bing, because we're kind of trying to do a little bit of Bing, a little bit of Google for you guys so that the competition isn't so aggressive just in AdWords. Bing actually allows us to import your Google AdWords campaign, so I don't have to build it from scratch, and we can literally run the same campaign on both networks, and you're hitting two different audiences at the same time. It's awesome. So that's kind of what I'm showing you here is we've been able to import everyone's Google AdWords campaign and test it out a little bit on Bing. What I have here is, this is just one campaign that I've done it on. And, you know, obviously we've tested on a couple different campaigns. The clients were aware that we were kind of doing the tests and they were all for it. And I have done review calls with them since. And it's been interesting to say the least, because I was always really against Bing, but I'll kind of go over the data with you guys a little bit here. So the Bing ads, they ran for the same period of time. I believe it was 10 days. I had them run from March 1st to March 10th. So on Bing, the clients spent a little bit more, $232, but they got 16 leads. And their average cost per click was a little cheaper. It was $2.47. So they got way more exposure. The only thing is their average position was about a 4.9. So they're in a position between 4th and 5th position on the first page of Bing ads. On Google AdWords, the same time span, they spent $197, less exposure. They got 6 leads and they were spending about, $6 a click, but they were popping up around the 4th, a little bit higher in the 4th position on Google AdWords. When I asked about the quality of leads, the Bing versus the AdWords, from this particular client and another client that I've had about 5 clients we've been testing this with, he preferred the Bing ads. Now, Bing and Yahoo are the same company now, in case anybody didn't know that. Bing bought Yahoo. So the Bing ads not only run on Bing, but they run on Yahoo. And if there's one thing about Yahoo that everybody knows is Yahoo has a big financial community because of Yahoo Finance. I was always a disbeliever in this. Chris yelled at me for years probably, and he probably feels like he won now because, we've been seeing a lot more come from Bing. So what we're doing now is we're kind of taking everybody's budget when you set up a lead generation campaign, and we're almost splitting in half, Bing and Google AdWords. Now, could we do that 30%, 70%? Absolutely. If you want to spend 30 of your budget on Bing, 70 on Google, by all means. I'm not doing this to make you guys do it. You obviously have the option saying, I don't want to be on Bing at all. Not a problem. This is just a way for me to help you. I'm telling you the data that we've received doing this, and it's helping people as far as the competition is concerned, because Bing doesn't have the same update that Google does. Will they do it eventually? Maybe. They generally copy everything Google does anyway. So it may happen eventually, the Armageddon for Bing, but right now it's working. And it's a way that you guys can draw your budget out more. You can get more bang for your buck kind of thing when we kind of divvy it up against, Bing, Yahoo, and Google, because you're not competing all in one network. It's like, you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. You're spreading it across all these different search engines. And clearly there are people searching for it in our industry because everybody that we've had running on Bing so far is getting a lot of leads. So just another thing to be aware of, we have not converted everybody over yet. There are still a couple people that I need to reach out to as far as converting over, especially those that are platinums, because you guys were mainly running on AdWords before. So if you're platinum, I will be reaching out to you probably when I do your review call for this month's campaign, and we'll kind of talk about if this is something you're interested in doing and how much of your credit you want to allocate to it. If you want it to be 50-50, you want it to be 30-70, 60-40, whatever, we can make it work. We're pretty flexible with that. So that is my Bing A/B test. The next thing I wanted to cover with you guys, and I'll be quick, I noticed I'm already at 41 minutes, the drop-off commercial real estate leads. I know I've been telling everybody this. We watch the trends for Google. We watch how many people are searching for given keywords each month. Just to kind of show you, here's small business loans in red and small business financing in blue. This shows the trends and how many people have been searching for these keywords over the last 6 months, and that's what I've done here. And you can kind of see where the seasonal drops are, and they're generally, like I always say, in the winter. There's a lot of drops during the winter months for our industry for any keyword. We call it banker's holiday. People just aren't looking for financing at the end of the year. It's more of a beginning of the year thing, and you'll see it kind of pick up in February here. Well, that's small business loans. Here is commercial real estate. So if you can see, I hope you guys can see my screen okay, there is a massive drop-off in February. Very concerning. The keywords I pulled, obviously I couldn't pull all of them to show you guys. It would have gotten really confusing. So I pulled 3 important ones we use: investment property loans, commercial mortgage loans, commercial real estate loans. Those are 3 really big keywords that we incorporate in campaigns. This data shows over the last 12 months, so you guys can see some of the trends and how it drops come the winter time and they pick back up. But we've seen a massive, almost like complete drop in February. Are we starting to see it pick back up in March? Yes. Judging by the search trends from last year in April, which is at the beginning of that line graph, it should pick back up again. We generally see it perform the best over the summer, which this graph actually reflects. That's pretty accurate for what we see. The summer generally does the best with commercial real estate. So for those of you that have been panicking about commercial real estate, there's nothing I can really do to control people searching terms. We've gone in and we've added more keywords for you guys. We've added more dynamic ads to help you reach out to people that are searching for real estate financing. Same thing, we've been increasing keyword bids for top converting keywords in your commercial real estate campaign that are working for you. Another thing we've been doing is creating ads for more niche commercial real estate products. A lot of commercial real estate campaigns I run, I keep them really top level. And, I have my reasons for doing that because generally when somebody's looking for commercial real estate financing, they're either looking for a business property or an investment property. And, they're very simple when they're typing in their keywords. It's, generally investment property loan or investment property financing, financing for my investment property, or commercial real estate financing, commercial real estate loan options, those kind of stuff. Rarely do we see people typing in, I need a CMBS loan. People, for the most part, do not even know that exists. In fact, the search volume for stated income real estate and CMBS loans is minimal. However, I have been doing everything I can to try to get you guys any sort of commercial real estate leads out there. So what we've been doing is we've been reaching out to those more niche markets to see if they're converting. They are very low in volume. I'm not seeing a lot of lead count from those particular keywords. You're more likely to get a CMBS loan from somebody typing in a commercial real estate financing keyword, top level, because they don't even know CMBS loan is a thing. Bridge loans, yes, a lot of people type in bridge loans. The only thing with bridge loans that I have noticed is that it is eating at people's budget. Bridge loan keywords apparently are very expensive. And, we've been doing this niche commercial real estate product thing in people's campaigns that focus on commercial real estate products. And we've seen bridge loans eating up a lot of budget and not yielding the results we expected from it. So that's kind of what I've seen on that end. Like I said, I believe it's a seasonal thing. Time will tell. If it gets to be mid-April and everybody is still suffering for commercial real estate leads, then I will panic. I have seen it pick up since February, so I'm not too worried. We still kind of are in March, so we won't really be able to tell how it's going to be if it's an industry drop on AdWords or, if there's something that we're missing as far as the way we're ranking our ads, but I wouldn't worry about that too much. Our new call tracking software, I know I've reached out to some of you that run campaigns with me already. For those of you that have ran campaigns with me in the past, our call tracking software that we had before, which was Google's call tracking software, was not always as accurate as it could have been. And the way I say that is it didn't really give us the data we wanted. The only data it gave us was, if somebody clicked on your phone number or somebody dialed the Google cloaking number that they had rotating on your website, and how long it was, and maybe what their area code was. Our new tracking software gives us a whole lot more data that I love because I'm a data nerd. So this is kind of what the call tracking dashboard looks like. I can't show you too much into it without giving away some of my clients' personal information. So I can't show you in the actual platform itself, but I provided a couple screenshots to help you guys kind of see what we're allowed to see. So I can see in this client's campaign that they've had 7 calls. If you look at the numbers at the bottom, starting all the way at the bottom right, or bottom left, I'm sorry. Since I've integrated this call tracking software in their campaign, they've had 7 calls. I could see how long the calls have lasted. They do spam checks, which you see 0 spam checks. There have been no spam calls, believe it or not. You guys may have received spam calls from people that just go around and click people's phone numbers on their mobile device. It's really annoying. And the cost thing is generally after a certain period of minutes, they start charging us when we have this call tracking software installed. We get charged with how many minutes. So if you have a call for an hour with a borrower, we're probably paying for it, which is fine because I love the data that comes from it. I'm not really bothered by that. Usually it's covered in the management fee that you pay us anyway. So that doesn't really bother us too much. This is kind of what we see. Now, I'm sorry I have to black out a lot of the information, but I'm going to kind of go over with you a little bit piece by piece so you can understand it. Each call pops in as a row, and we're able to see the caller ID of the caller. So if you look at the second row, it says a medical office called. It gives their phone number, which I blacked out. In the second column over, we can see the source. So these were referral sources. Now, for people that run call tracking, Generally, the referral would say AdWords. It does give my client's name after it, so I did block that out, but it tells me that it came from the AdWords campaign that they have running. The next thing I see is a recording. All the way over in the 5th column, you see audio with the little headphone symbol, and it tells me how long this call lasted. We have an option to record the phone calls. However, that is something we've seen a lot of drop off from, so we don't really like the recording. If you do have the recording stalled, you say you want to have your phone calls recorded that you have with brokers or with borrowers, but at the beginning of the phone call when the borrower calls you, it will say a message for quality assurance purposes, this call may be recorded, yada, yada, yada. It does let the borrower know that the call is being recorded if you choose to have that option. We've decided by default not to have that option. But what's cool is in the next column over, the metrics, it gives me what time, the date, and if you as the broker actually picked up the phone. And this is kind of something that I wanted to go over with everybody. Obviously, picking up the phone when they call is really important because if you ran a campaign in the past, trying to get a hold of somebody can be difficult and you feel like you're chasing them down. So it's really important to be able to pick up the phone when, number is calling, it might be from your ad campaign. And this goes back to ad scheduling. If you say, well, Brittany, I'm getting calls at 6 a.m. in the morning, or I'm getting calls at 11 p.m. at night, you can come to me and say, I only want my ads to run from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. when I'm going to be available to answer my phone. For those of you that still, work your jobs during the day, and this is kind of something that you do part-time on the side or on the weekends, I can have your calls start coming in or your leads start coming in at 3 p.m. or whenever you leave your job, or maybe only on the weekends. So it's just really important for you guys to be able to pick up the phone. And now, this is data that I couldn't see with our old call tracking software. So when I did report calls with people, I'd say, oh, it looks like you got about 6 calls. And they'd say, well, I didn't pick up any of them. They went to my voicemail, and when I called them back, they never answered me. Okay. Well, now I can tell if you answered them. So that allows me to kind of work with the broker a little bit, and I can kind of coach you guys through how to be available when they do call, how to answer the phone. If any of you, I know John just created a sales intake form, meaning like when you pick up the phone, what are all the necessities of things that you need to get from that borrower before, you start trying to work them into an app. John and I sat down, we created a doc. He has put it on the flash drive since, I think, last class. If you are before February 16 and you would like that sales intake form, please email me. I'll get a copy from John and I will send it to you. A lot of people have found that helpful because they just keep it by their phone, and when somebody calls, it has sales intake questions based on if it's a small business financing deal or if it's a commercial real estate deal, and what questions to ask right out of the gate to get the information you need. And this is something John and I both put together because John gets a lot of calls from, graduates, and they say, well, I got a deal and I got this guy, and John will say, well, what's the equity he has on the business or the property? And they'll say, well, I don't know. And, John's like, well, okay, well, you got to go back and ask them. And then you're kind of playing phone tag with the borrower. So it's really important to get those initial questions right out of the gate, or answers right out of the gate. So if you do want that, shoot me an email. John and I have a copy of it. I can send that to you. For any grads moving forward after February 2016, it should be on your flash drive. If John has not put it there, tell me and I will yell at him and I will send it to you. Let's see, a couple other house items that I wanted to go over just based on questions I've received, questions my team has received, and some things that we've seen. For those of you that run lead generation campaigns, your email leads come in looking like this. And some of you might be like, what the heck is Unbounce? And I was never made aware of this. Unbounce is just a software platform that we use to build your landing page for your campaign. It's not something that you guys have to worry about having a login to. We will always send you your landing pages so that you can see them before they go live. We have you approve them before we publish them live. Unbounce is paid for in your management fee when you sign on for lead generation. So that, that management fee that you pay us to manage your campaign, it pays to have landing pages hosted on this platform called Unbounce. We love Unbounce. This is an example of what an unbounced lead looks like. I've seen a lot of people emailing this email back. So when they get this email, all they do is hit reply and they think they're actually replying to the borrower. No, you're replying to a don't reply email unbounced. So if you look down at my arrows, you'll see reply to this borrower by sending an email to the email address they provide. So if you want to email back this borrower from the lead you got, you actually have to take that email address, whatever it is, so-and-so 72@AOL.com, and you have to click that email or copy and paste it into a new email. You cannot respond directly by hitting the reply that you get from this unbounced email, because it will send it to me or it will send it to unbounced and they contact me about it. So that's just something that I wanted to let you guys know. And we've included a lot of new information on your contact forms, credit score, how long they've been in business. These are things that I've started including people's contact forms based on feedback that I get from everybody each month on the quality of leads they're getting. I want to be able to pre-screen borrowers for you guys as much as possible. It's really important. So those are a couple things that I've put in. The next one, spam. One of my clients received this email. I've blocked out their personal information for obviously privacy reasons. Anytime someone gets an email like this, I see all your leads. Like I said, we go in your campaigns every single day. Depending on if I see it at 3 p.m. during the day or 9 a.m. is, obviously that varies depending on how busy my days are. But if you ever get an email like this, obviously this is spam. Please send it to me. If usually when people send them to me, I'll say, oh, I already saw that. What I can do is at the bottom of this contact form, you see their IP address. I take that IP address and I put it in an exclusion list on your campaign that this person, Moop, can never see your website ever again. Their IP is blocked from your URL, so in your domain. So you will never get one from that IP address again. Spam happens, and here's that example I showed you, IP address exclusion. This is where I add in IP addresses that I don't want people to see your website ever again. It really excludes it. We put it through Google. I said about the client intake forms. For those of you that do have voicemails, please make sure they're set up properly. There's a lot of drop-off we're seeing on voicemails. People will call your voicemail, pick up, and they'll drop off. So I know a lot of you have call services. Those are great. If you don't want to invest in that, and you hate the sound of your voice like I hate the sound of my voice, I have Priscilla actually do my voicemail setup. So if you have somebody whose voice you like, have them set up your voicemail. A professional voicemail is so important, especially when you're running a lead generation campaign, because we don't want to see borrowers dropping off as soon as your voicemail picks up and it's your 8-year-old daughter, saying you guys aren't home right now. So definitely something that I want to make sure you guys all have. If you're not already and you're always looking for updates about what we're doing, I have a designated PPC Twitter account that is just for Finance Marketing Group PPC clients. You guys can log on to this if you have a Twitter. I update it pretty much daily with what our team is doing, any news or information we found out about the industry. If you don't have a Twitter account, it's also on our website, on our pay-per-click page. I have a live feed going from there. I know some of you don't have Twitter, which is fine. I know it's an extra thing you have to take care of. Now, I know I have a couple of minutes left before this webinar closes out. I just wanted to go over a couple questions and see if I can answer anybody's questions on here. I do have one question. Do you have data that shows any relationships between time of clicks, conversion rates, for example, clicks after 6 p.m.? Absolutely. Everybody's campaigns are different. Jim's campaign may convert after 6 p.m. on Wednesdays the best, and Bob's campaign may convert Sunday and Saturday after 1 p.m. Everybody's is different. If you've run a campaign already, I'll be able to provide that information for you. Unfortunately, that information is unique to every single advertiser, and that's generally information that we are able to evaluate after 2 weeks of your campaign running. So if you're a new campaign, you haven't ran yet, we won't be able to provide that information until 2 weeks in. But once we have it, we'll be able to, optimize your campaign for those top converting times. We definitely can do that. Let's see. Tony, I love you that you said I'm prettier than William Wallace. Thank you. Another one. We have another question or comment. I've seen a lot of Facebook posts from Fundera and many other lenders. Is it not under Google's radar? Facebook ads are something, that's a whole other beast. My whole thing about Facebook ads is, you know, they work for gaining branding experience. Are they going to bring you leads? No. And that's just my honest opinion. That's what our social department has been able to see. Some people do get leads, very rare, very small amount of leads that you get. If you're looking at running Facebook campaigns, it's more for branding. Fundera, you know, I obviously don't know if they're getting leads from it. We know people at Fundera, so it'd be interesting if I could connect with their marketing department. But from what we've seen in all the Facebook ad campaigns we've run, not a lot going on lead-wise. More of a branding thing, gaining experience locally, and that's about it. You know, we have seen a lot going on with LinkedIn, so that's something to look in as well. Do borrowers receive anything from Unbounce after they submitted a web form? Yes, they get a confirmation. When a borrower submits the web contact form in Unbounce, they will receive a confirmation that generally says, thank you, your form has been submitted. One of our professional representatives will contact you within 24 hours. So I hope you contact them within 24 hours. LinkedIn ads, same thing. Really good for branding, not good for lead gen, but I can tell you what is good for lead gen when it comes to LinkedIn, and that is actually going out and making connections and trying to build referral partners. And I know that's something we offer here now. If you buy, you know, the LinkedIn package, you actually get the premium LinkedIn account, and our team, our social team, will go out and actively connect with people for you and send them private messages trying to make referral connections, like to CPAs, law firms, bankers, anybody you're looking to make connections with, we actually do that. Let's see what else I have. When you say conversion rate, what are you referring to? Are conversions a real lead contacted? Yes, conversions are an email contact form fill out or a phone call. If I see that you picked up the phone, I'm counting it as a conversion, whether or not you were able to fund that deal or not. That's just how our lead generation program works, and that's actually how all lead generation programs work. Is Unbounce only from email campaigns, not PPC? No, we only use Unbounce for pay-per-click. That is it. It is unique to that. I think MailChimp and some of the email platforms have their own landing page, database, and metrics. That's something that you'd probably want to talk to Alex about. I stay as far out of email marketing as possible, so I'm not probably the best person to answer about that. I am running out of time. I think this program is probably going to shut me down in a couple seconds, but please, if you have any more questions, feel free to email me. Most of you know my email. If not, here it is, Brittany@financemarketing.com. I'm more accessible through email than I am through my phone. So, you know, if you email me and want to set up a phone conversation, absolutely, we can set up a time in the calendar and talk more in depth on the phone if that's better for you. Like I said, this presentation is recorded. I will send you all a link to it in my follow-up email at the end of the day. Other than that, thank you guys for taking an hour out of your busy Wednesdays, I'm sure, to listen to me ramble on. You know, I do this for you guys. I just want you to be informed of what's going on. I'm a pretty transparent person, as I think most of my clients will tell you. So like I said, if you have any more other questions, feel free to reach out to me. Other than that, thank you so much, guys, and I will talk to you soon.